Cognitive and Genre Approaches in Teaching Cross-Linguistic Mediation, the authors Svetlana Kolomeets, Inna Antonenko, Ludmila Gureva, Muzafer Subashi, Yana Tukan. We designed and experimentally verified the genre analysis strategies in learning cross-linguistic mediation. Our interest was sparked by a new communicative language strategy in learning foreign languages introduced by the Common European Framework of Reference, CEFR, that is mediation. This strategy is treated as one of the 4 communication modes. The function of mediation is to facilitate understanding and communication in various contexts. There are 3 subdivisions of mediation, and all these types and their strategies are interconnected. Our key focus was on mediating a text which involves the following activities you can see. When we discuss translation-oriented genre and concept analysis, this method should be considered effective both in teaching English and in translation training. The polysemous terms that change their meanings in various branches of science and technology evoke translation difficulties. Concept analysis, which helps distinguish base concepts, followed by certain training activities, proved to be an effective instrument in coping with these difficulties. It is worth mentioning that different parts of some texts belong to different genres. It is claimed that genre analysis helps identify differences in genre structures, conventions, and expectations across languages and cultures, distinguishing between obligatory and optional elements, grouping text according to similar communicative and pragmatic features, thus enabling specifying similar translation difficulties. Cross-linguistic mediation aims to offer information to the audience that is contextual, optimal, and relevant, usually in common everyday situations. It requires an overall competence that includes linguistic, intercultural, and interpersonal competences needed for living in a multilingual global society. Nowadays, there is an incredible growth of attention not only to teaching culture or foreign language, but also in taking into account the socio-cultural influences on communication. Teaching foreign language not only as a means of communication, but also as a way of understanding the culture of the target language community has become an inevitable part of foreign languages and translation teaching. Thus, specifying genre and style dominance serves as a particular filter in the translator's decision-making process. We argue that genre and style also regulate the dominance of certain concepts. We may speak about similar concepts, complexes, or image schemas offering similar translation difficulties. The experimental training took place in September to November 2020 and included 40 second-year students of the Institute of Publishing and Printing of Igor Sikorsky KPI. The main instruments of the research were integration of the cognitive and translation-oriented genre approaches, experimental verification of the genre approach, efficiency in teaching ESP, content analysis of 100 media texts, experimental verification of the efficiency of translation-oriented concept and genre analysis, mediation at the Publishing and Printing Institute. The analysis of 100 English and Ukrainian media texts enabled selecting 20 binary texts. Experimental learning included 3 stages. During the first stage, the students analyzed the English and Ukrainian texts of the same genres and similar topics in terms of their genre characteristics and verbal representation of the main concepts. The main aim of the second stage of the experimental learning was interpreting activities based on binary texts. The third stage included written translation of English information and advertising texts. Here you can see the developed didactic teaching model, where objective is developing skills in cross-linguistic mediation, approaches, concept analysis and genre approaches, methods, mediation of text, binary text analysis, and practicing and interpreting and translation. The result is raising effectiveness in interpreting and translation. The key criteria were A. The content compliance with the source text, B. Genre compliance with the source text, C. Concepts compliance with the source text, D. Lexical and grammatical correctness. Before the experimental training, a pre-experimental section was performed. The students of 2 academic groups, EG 91 and EG 92, translated the information advertising text. Their results were assessed by the chosen criteria. The pre-experimental results showed a low level of translation skills, justifying the need for experimental training. Average results of experimental training according to chosen criteria showed that dynamic change proved the hypothesis that binary text proved to be an effective tool in learning cross-linguistic mediation. Thus, the integrated concept and genre approach and binary text as its instrument proved to be effective. This approach offers a way of adapting the traditional means of translation to a more task-oriented and communicative style of teaching EFL. Therefore, the cross-linguistic mediation training helps provide the knowledge of not only the conceptual resource but also the way the concept is presented, which in its turn is regulated by genre and style constraints. However, the limitations of their research should be mentioned as well. First, the experimental study involved the students majoring in publishing and editing only, meaning that a relatively narrow cross-section of the participants was represented. Therefore, this aspect requires further development in terms of expanding the field of science students majoring in and the genre's repertoire. We hope that our research will raise interest in the genre and concept analysis in learning cross-linguistic mediation and bring to light the efficiency of binary text as an instrument in teaching English. Thank you for your attention.